Hey, it's Joe Amoia, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com. Today I'd like to talk about the four-letter word that is absolutely destroying your chances of having the relationship you really desire. So we're just going to get right into it. So what is this four-letter word? It's not that four-letter word. It's not one of those ones that, George Carlin used to talk about that you can't see or they can't say. Well, I guess they can kind of say anything on television these days. But this four-letter word, to me, is just as dangerous as those other words. And so this four-letter word is the word can't. See? Now, if you're single, you're saying, I can't find a good man. I can't get over my ex. I can't find a guy where I have that chemistry, that instant spark that I'm looking for. Or maybe you're saying, I can't trust men. I can't open up again because you've had your heart broken. Or maybe you're saying, I just can't find a guy who's willing to commit, because those guys, don't want to commit. And I get that. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you're saying, you know what? I can't leave. I spent too much time and, I know he loves me and I know I love him and I know it's going to get better. I get that. Or just maybe you're actually married and you're in a relationship where you can't walk away. You've invested so much time and you're afraid of walking away because of, how it's going to affect the kids if you've got kids, or maybe the financial ramifications of being on your own and being able and having to survive in the world. Or maybe you're simply afraid of being alone again. See, when we say we can't, what we're really saying is one of two things. What we're really saying is, I don't know how, or I don't want to. And so I'm going to repeat that because it's going to make it real simple, because that's what we're all about at GPS for Love, making it real simple. When you say you can't, what you're really saying is you don't know how or you don't want to. So for instance, if you're saying you can't walk away, there's a part of you that's saying either you don't know how to walk away because you've got a lot of stuff there, there's a lot of fears which need to be addressed, or you're really saying you don't want to walk away because on some level that relationship is still working for you. And you'll have to go into an area where there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of unknown, there's a lot of fears that are coming up. And instead of facing and embracing those fears and dealing with them head on, we just say, oh, I can't. So I get that. But this word can't is so detrimental. There was a time in my life where I was like, I can't find that girl who's got all the stuff that I need. And it really worked against me. And once I changed my belief patterns, it's like, you know what? I only need one. How do I find that one? And I started focusing on that. Because here's the thing about your brain. There's a famous saying, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And that's the amazing thing about how the brain works. If your brain says you can't, you'll find evidence and your brain will go, yeah, see, you're right, you can't. If you feel you can't lose weight, guess what? You're not going to lose weight. If you feel you can't save money, guess what? You're not going to save money. If you feel you can't find a good man, or you can't keep a man, or you can't open up, guess what? All those things are going to happen because that's the way your brain works. It's trained to produce evidence to support what you believe unconsciously in here. So here's a little homework today. It's that mirror time again, where I want you to step back and the can't that you're using, because there's one or more that you're using on a regular basis. I want you to really identify it. What is it that you feel that you can't do? And then step out and ask yourself, is it I don't know how or I don't want to? Because once you identify the real source behind that belief, behind that can't, then it's easier to then start finding the evidence. Because if it's something you feel that you don't know how to do, well, here's a real tip. Go find somebody who's already succeeded and learn from them. And if you feel that you don't want to, what you're going to do is you're going to identify that there's a fear behind there. And you need to identify that fear and you need to meet it head on. Because most of the time, a fear is really something that is produced by going into an area where there's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what's ahead. We don't know if we're going to be able to survive. It's going to take us out of our comfort zone. And so for most of us, we'd rather stay in a crappy, mediocre relationship or a crappy, mediocre situation than leave and go into that world where there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that are going to make us uncomfortable. But the only way to grow and create the relationship we really want is to take that leap of faith, is to walk into that uncertainty in a smart, healthy, and reasonable way. So that's your homework for today. I want you to take some mirror time, take a good look and ask yourself, what is it that I feel that I can't do? and then identify it. And then after you do that, go ahead and post it in the comment section below. Love to hear from you, because you know there's so many members of the GPS for Love community who are struggling with the same thing. And once you see that, hey, you know what, we're all on the same path, we're all struggling through the same thing, you don't feel alone anymore. You don't feel like you're the only one going through this. Even though that's how it feels emotionally, there's safety in numbers, and that's one of the reasons we created GPS for Love, to help you understand you're not alone. There is a better, smarter way of getting through this, and there are things out there to guide you and lead you along to creating the results you desire and you deserve. So as always, an honor and privilege to be with you. I'll see you next time. Much love.